Let's kick off with the global markets picture as it stands. Markets have turned around, it seems, today in South Africa, but the general sense of unease and volatility persists in the market. We have some news that helped turn around sentiment that ECB might be looking to issue a Eurobond. Do you think this would be the solution? And do you think the 27 Eurozone states would agree on a Eurobond?
Not easily. I think, yes, it's an ideal solution, but the ideal solution needs all the members of the EU to move at the same time and quickly. Now, you know, to float something like this with all of those members to commit to a Eurobond, it would have to go through the parliament of every one of those members. That's going to take some time. And we've already seen some of them kicking against helping Greece at all. Now, just increasing that commitment will be difficult to get to. I think what we may find is that if you look at Germany and France, I mean, France has had two of their major banks downgraded, with a third one at risk of being downgraded from a credit and funding point of view. They can't get access to dollar funds, and I think German banks are already saying that as well. You may find that their governments say, hey, instead of contributing to this Eurobond, let's rather strengthen the asset basis of our own home banking sector. So I put a low probability level on floating that Eurobond.
And of course, we've got a key meeting later today between Angela Merkel, Nicolas Sarkozy, and the Greek Prime Minister. Markets keenly awaiting to see if anything will come out of that. We've got 2 weeks until Greece apparently runs out of money. Do you think that we'll get any hope from that meeting?
Well, they're going to do their best to have their spin doctors put the right sort of impression on it. It's going to be very difficult because Greece, in any case, is struggling to introduce these austerity measures. When they first even talked about it, there were riots in Athens, there were riots in the streets. Now, if they have to say they've got to shrink the economy to an even greater extent to trigger off the next round of support operations, wow, it's going to be very difficult. I suspect we could even see a fall in the Greek dominant party in the very near future. That's going to make it awfully difficult to get the whole thing into motion.
But for the meantime, markets have turned around here in South Africa as well. We've got the market up by 1% as it stands after that negative opening. CECIL's stock taking well to news that it's looking into a gas to liquids plant over in the United States in Louisiana. Still got a feasibility study there. Still going to have to wait 18 months to see whether that will transpire. But at this stage, investors liking the news. That stock up 2% to 335 Rand.
Yes, and you know, it had quite a good run. It was up to 370 just a short while ago, came back down under 340, and I think that that's sort of close to around about 330, 340, a good base level, and maybe that's an idea to accumulate them. If one is saying, well, it's 10% below the recent peak, it could be a good outlook there, and if just looking at the results they've produced recently, it really has got technology, world-beating technology, and this new move to the into the US on the gas to liquid technology that they can utilize. They've got it ready to go. I think that it just increases the future of CECIL's potential, which is massive.
As you say, leveraging off that gas to liquids technology, another company that reported results out today, in fact, MMI, that's the newly born merged entity out of Metropolitan and Momentum. If you look at full year earnings up there, 22%, but of course, those two companies only merging 7 months ago, so difficult to unpack the numbers, but overall, it looks like earnings are up. So, and investors also, despite the earnings up, the stock trading down 1%.
Yes, you know, it's one of those things where good results or satisfactory results were expected. They've got such a good cover of the market. You know, you've got Metropolitan in the lower income group, Momentum covering the higher income group. Definite plans of putting together a combined move into Africa, not brand new bases, but extending the bases they already have. I think it's going to be solid, but not necessarily exciting. And, you know, maybe it's one of those things where buy on the rumor, sell on the news, good results were expected, now they're out, okay, take some profit in the short term.
And it is all about taking profit in the short term because of the volatility. We really don't know where the markets are going, or looking at capital preservation and extending your investment horizon. What is your investment advice given all the uncertainty that we have right now?
Well, you just mentioned just now, I think, Aspen, for instance, came out with really good results. There was buying, took it from 77 Rand to 90 Rand, and now it's one of the losers. Once again, profit taking. When one sees that sort of a jump in share prices, I would be inclined to consolidate, to take short-term profits, to put it in the bank, take some money off the table, and be looking for stocks which get knocked back unnecessarily. And take CECIL, if we see it coming back to the 330 Rand or so level, or even lower, accumulate there, but be very specific. Then don't go, following share prices up right now.
On that note, annual earnings out for Sasfin as well. HEPS at 297 cents, down 16%, hit by impairments and write-downs in the non-banking business. Good news, though, that the loan book has grown by around 23%. What did you take of from these results?
Well, I would look at it and give it a view on the economy as a whole. Sasfin's major client base is the smaller or the medium-sized companies and high net worth individuals, and the fact that their profits are down means that the level of activity, banking activity they're looking at, is lower. Maybe their high net worth individuals are not spending the way they were, and I think that's just a little bit of a cautionary sign there regarding the outlook for the economy as a whole. We just saw the Reserve Bank's bulletin showing the sharp pullback there's been in consumer and business spending, and I think all this says be cautious. Banking as a whole in any case is a tough business. Business in South Africa as a whole in the 6 to 12 months ahead is going to be difficult.